call the meeting to order, and we will start with the invocation by Commander Chaplain Wilson on Zoom.
Okay,
Thank you.
are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, good afternoon to the entire board. Thank you for your service. Let's approach the throne. Father, first we want to say thank you. We want to thank you for your love, your kindness, your mercy, and your grace towards us. God, as we gather today as the Board of Commissioners, we give thanks for the guiding light of the history that we have with them. As we celebrate Passover, which foreshadows the sacrifice that Jesus Christ made for all mankind, we want to say thank you. And we want to remember the promise of freedom and justice for all. Lord, inspire us to serve with compassion, to pursue equity, and to ensure every person in our community is treated with dignity and fairness. Bless the homes and the families of everyone in attendance. We ask you to do this in the matchless name of Jesus the Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commander Chaplain Wilson.
Thank you.
And now the introduction of the commissioners. Roll call, please. Madam Secretary.
Commissioner DeWash,
Present.
Commissioner Woods and Commissioner Bowman are expected. Commissioner Camille,
Present.
Commissioner Carter.
Here.
Commissioner Ivy is also on the way. Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Morris,
Present.
Commissioner Watts,
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Present.
7 present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At this time, we have our April 2nd agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Should be moved.
Or it's, who was it moved by? I'm sorry.
Williams.
Oh, Commissioner Williams moved. It was seconded by
Carter.
Commissioner Carter. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And next, we have the minutes of March 26. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
It's been moved by
Second.
Commissioner Jones,
Support.
seconded by Commissioner Watts. Is there any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And we have closed session meetings for March 26th regarding the applicant appeal, Noel Morales. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Jones, seconded by Commissioner Morris.
Williams.
Williams, I'm sorry. Williams, any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next, we'll have introduction of the staff and police personnel, elected officials, representatives, and community leaders. Madam Secretary.
Madam Chair, through the chair. Present as of this time and registered are Janya Underwood, Teresa Blossom, Dior Mathis, Candace Hayes, Armani Arnold, Artemisia Joshua, Mary Barber, Felicia Tyson, Drew Freeze, Dr. Francis Jackson, parliamentarian, Deputy Chief Tiffany Stewart for the Office of Chief of Police, BOPC Chief Investigator Jerome Warfield Sr., OCI Supervising Investigator Destiny Destiny. Today's interpreters are Angelique Taylor and Stephanie Beatty. Co-reporter Hanson. Court reporting by Megan Price Novak. Audio Enrique Jackson. Media Services Charles Henry. Marie Overall, Administrative Assistant to State Representative Tyrone Carter. Ms. Preacher Butler, 2nd Precinct Community Activist. J.G. Love, Representative of City Council Member Renata Miller's office. We also have, I don't see Mr. Young or Mr. Thomas. And on Zoom, we have presently, we have on Zoom Mark Young, Lieutenant and Sergeants Association President, is on Zoom, and also former Police Commissioner William Davis. And those are registered at this time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Under my report, we have a resolution honoring retired police officer Russell Stringfellow posthumously, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Williams to please read the resolution.
Detroit Board of Police Commissioners resolution honoring retired police officer Roger Stringfellow. Whereas Russell Stringfellow, not Roger. Whereas Russell Stringfellow faithfully served the Detroit Police Department beginning his career on January 3rd, 1972, following his graduation from the Detroit Metropolitan Police Academy. And whereas Officer Stringfellow was assigned to the 5th Precinct, later known as the Eastern District, where he served with distinction for over 3 decades until September 1st. And whereas throughout his 33 years of dedicated service, Officer Stringfellow exemplified professionalism, integrity, and unwavering commitment to duty, earning numerous department award citations and ribbons in recognition to his exemplary performance. And whereas Officer Stringfellow consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic and deep dedication to public service, making a lasting impact on both the department and the citizens of Detroit. And whereas Officer Stringfellow retired on October 20th, 2005, concluding a distinguished career marked by honorable service and devotion to the safety of well-being of the community. And whereas his legacy in service, dedication, and commitment continues to inspire members of the Detroit Police Department and the community he faithfully served. There it be resolved, the Board of Detroit Police Commissioners hereby honors and recognizes retired Officer Russell Stringfellow for his 33 years of dedication and service. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented posthumously as an expression of the board's deepest gratitude and respect, and that a copy be transmitted to his family as a symbol of appreciation for his life and service. I move for adoption of the resolution to be moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams moved for the adoption of the resolution. Is there a second?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowman, second the motion. Is there any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Chief of Police report. Deputy Chief Stewart.
Morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm sorry. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon. You got me on that.
I've been very busy. And I've had my coffee today, so I don't know what's going on. Chief of Police report for today. No critically injured department members to report for the week of March 26th through April 1st. Looking at our crime stats, we are total Part 1 violent crime is at 0%. We are -3% in homicides. That's 1 down from this time last year. In non-fatal shootings, we're -8%. We have 66 in 2025 and 61 in 2026. In robberies, there's a 9% reduction. 200 in 2025 and 183 in 2026, which in carjackings, in 2025 we had 19, and in 2026 we had 16 for a -16% reduction. So our total Part 1 violent crime is at 0. Moving it along into a few high visibility cases that we want to talk about, some of which are closed cases. But first I want to make the board aware of DPD investigating a social media video that is out today on April 2nd.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can you talk in the mic
I'm
for
sorry.
the interpreters trying to get you? Thank you.
Tuesday, April 2nd, 2026, the Detroit Police Department was made aware of a video circulating social media showing officers entering a residence in the 8th Precinct and using force. We are conducting an internal investigation into the matter, but also upon immediate review, we have moved one of the officers to an administrative assignment while we conduct our investigation. I don't know if you all have had an opportunity to see the video. Secondary, moving into a couple high-profile closed cases that we have charges in a triple homicide on Edsel Street on February 17th of this year in the 3100 block of Edsel Street in Detroit. It is alleged that the defendant struck 3 victims multiple times with a hammer and a knife, fatally wounding them before fleeing the scene. Following an investigation by the Detroit Police Department, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has charged Lance Allen Clowney, age 27, of Detroit, in connection with the homicides of a 65-year-old, a 66-year-old, both of Detroit, and a 72-year-old of River Rouge. The defendant has been charged with 3 counts of premeditated first-degree murder. There's another double homicide that I want to talk about, charges issued that occurred in 2025. On November 10th, 2025, Detroit police officers were dispatched to the 2900 block of Puritan for a reported shooting. Upon arrival, officers discovered 2 male victims with multiple gunshot wounds inside of an illegal dispensary. One victim was pronounced deceased at the scene, while the others succumbed to his injuries at a local hospital. It is alleged that 3 defendants entered the dispensary while armed, shooting both victims before taking multiple items from inside and fleeing the scene. The defendants later fled the state and were taken into custody from various locations. Thanks to the U.S. Marshal Service for their assistance in this investigation. Following an investigation by DPD, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office has charged Ronnie Grable III, Maurice Harris, and Jalen Abel in connection with the homicides with 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder, and 4 counts of a felony firearm. Homicide has been doing a bunch of fantastic work, so we do want to give kudos to providing closure to those families. The Real-Time Crime Center assists MSP with a fatal crash investigation on March 27th of this year at 2:30 a.m. The Detroit Regional Communications Center received calls regarding the pedestrian walking along the Lodge Freeway. Soon after, they were notified that the pedestrian had been struck. Michigan State Police arrived at the scene and observed a woman that was severely injured. She was pronounced deceased. The driver that struck her had left the scene of the accident. MSP contacted our Real-Time Crime Center, which located video of the traffic crash. The license plate readers identified the suspect's vehicle. A search warrant was completed, and the driver and vehicle have been located. MSP's investigation is continuing, and the investigator's report will be submitted to the prosecutor's office for review. Traffic enforcement, gotten a lot of complaints regarding speeding, just in general from amongst the community, so we've been really stepping up our traffic enforcement. So from this March 22nd through 28th of this year, the Traffic Enforcement Unit conducted operations in 5 precincts: the 2nd, the 6th, the 9th, the 11th, and the 12th precincts. Officers made 549 traffic stops, issued 1,246 tickets for moving violations, and 201 tickets for speeding. A few community updates we want to talk about since this is Easter weekend. Community members are invited to join our officers this weekend for Easter egg hunts in the 10th, 11th, and 12th precincts on Saturday, April 4th, 2026. More information is available on our social media pages regarding those times and locations. Hooping with Cops is currently registering boys for the 2026 season. This is a free youth recreational basketball league in partnership with the Detroit PAL and Detroit Parks and Recreation. Parents can register children by calling area code 313-833-1600. And also prom dress pickup days. Prom dress pickup continues at the 9th precinct from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, April 4th, April 11th, April 18th, and April 25th. The Detroit Police Department's 9th precinct is currently hosting prom dress pickup days for high school girls in the community. Girls can pick up any of our gently used prom dresses, shoes, and accessories. Various sizes and styles are available. On April 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th of this year, pickup will be available at the 9th Precinct located at 11187 Gratiot Avenue from 12 p.m. Until 3 p.m. That concludes that report, but I did want to make another couple statements. One is related to the large fight downtown with the juveniles last week. So on Monday, March 30th, 2026 at around 6 p.m., officers from our downtown services detail were on patrol around campus marshes. While there, officers witnessed a large group of juveniles in the area. Our officers continued to monitor the area as the crowd grew from approximately 150 juveniles to about 300 juveniles. During this time, calls of disturbance from this area began coming in to our dispatch. DPD officers were strategically deployed into the areas along Monroe Street, Cadillac Square, and both Woodward and Michigan Avenue to disperse the juveniles from the campus marshes area. The juveniles disobeyed officers' commands to leave the area and repeatedly tried to return. At approximately 11 p.m., numerous juveniles were detained. 2 of the juveniles were detained, engaged in resisting arrest, and one of the juveniles pushed an officer while being detained, resulting in 3 separate use of force incidents involving our officers. In total, 12 juveniles were detained, and citations were issued for various incidents: 8 for curfew violation, 4 for disorderly conduct, 2 for interfering, and 1 for consuming marijuana. Additionally, 11 parental responsibility tickets were issued as well. All the juveniles detained were transported to 20 Atwater for processing. Downtown Services continues to canvass the area until all the juveniles left the area. Certainly, hopefully, we won't have a major problems with juveniles. This summer, I've seen across the nation, there have been several juvenile gatherings where they've been disrupting areas. So we're trying to stay on top of it and enforce what we can so we can keep the community safe. And one more situation that I am going to respond to or answer. Commissioner Bowman had 2 questions that he asked the chief last week. One was how many violent incidents were interrupted due to ShotSpotter with no other cause made to with no other cause made to 911. So with regard to that question, at this time, no specific number of violent incidents that were interrupted due to ShotSpotter with no other 911 cause can be provided. However, we have multiple documented incidents where we have received a ShotSpotter alert to a violent incident where no 911 cause was made, as well as violent incidents where the ShotSpotter alert came in several minutes before the 911 call, which allowed for a quicker response to the scene. The second question was how many ShotSpotter incidents were detected and how many of those ended in arrest and or prosecution. So in 2025, 11,087 ShotSpotter alerts assisted in investigations that resulted in 256 arrests and 511 recovered firearms. These outcomes reflect the totality of the department's investigative process, where the ShotSpotter technology is one of several tools used to identify and solve gun-related crimes.
Yeah, I believe I had asked to have that.
Just a minute, please. One second.
And that is the conclusion of my hefty report.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, are there any questions? I know Commissioner Watts, you had a question, but since she spoke about
Sure,
the
no
question
problem.
last week, can we have,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
It was out of
Go ahead.
order. Yeah, to be specific, that part of what I was asking for, first of all, I wanted this during given time intervals. And so basically, whether we want to do this over a monthly or a 3-month span, I kind of want to get a sense of frequency. Second of all, about the number of ShotSpotter calls resulting in arrest, I specifically said for violent crimes, and so I didn't get those statistics.
We will go back over your questions. I'm sure you all have those documented, and we'll provide you an answer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, thank you, and thank you for your report. Couple questions here, going back to, because one of my questions was going to be about the incident with the juveniles on downtown services experience. And you are correct, in Chicago, Hyde Park specifically, they had sort of the same thing. And I know that you said you guys are going to be doing, hopefully doing more, but my question is, since we just started in the spring and summer's not here, this incident occurred. I haven't seen that in a while here. Things have been going well the past summers and as far as gatherings like that. But it seems to be a trend across the country early. So what is the plan for DPT? I would hope that you would engage more of the community, the stakeholders, the leaders to get in front of this and have a plan in place just in case you have more gatherings in the downtown area or throughout. As you know, Campus Marshes in downtown, we all know it's thriving. A lot of amenities are there. You're going to have fireworks coming up and everything. So I think that my advice would be hopefully that you would have a plan and working with a lot of stakeholders, especially our partners in our neighborhoods throughout, just to get ahead of this in case this happens again and have a plan.
And through the chair, I absolutely agree, Commissioner Watts. We certainly can't do this all without you all. We do a lot of social media monitoring to try and get ahead of it. So certainly, some of this stuff is last minute, if you will, and you kind of got to jump on it when you do. But certainly anything, especially in regards to some of the bigger events that we're having, we definitely have to pull you all in because we can't do it without you.
Yes, thank you. And not just us, I mean, even throughout the community leaders.
That's who I'm referring to. Yeah, that's exactly who I'm referring to. Not necessarily this board, the various community stakeholders, whether it's a community, whether it's CVI, just a number of different people just joining in collaboration so we can keep the community safe.
Absolutely, thank you. And my next point is related to the crime scene visit. A couple of our commissioners we did yesterday. Thank you for that. As you're aware and the public is aware, there's been some concerns raised about that unit. So we did have an opportunity to visit yesterday. Let me know when we will receive, I know we requested any MIOSHA reports, that's emailed over to us. I know I requested that specifically last week within the last 5 years. So if we can get that information, that would be great.
We'll definitely, we've already pulled the information. We've had one MIOSHA report for that location within the last 5 years. We've completed, pulled it, and we're sending it up through the chief, and you'll receive that report.
Great. And my final comment, Madam Chair, is everyone knows it's opening day tomorrow. And of course, we hope there's going to be a win. We know there's going to be a lot of resources in the downtown area because of the crowds. But I know and hopefully you have a plan to make sure that our neighborhoods throughout City of Detroit also still have the resources in case they're not visiting the game, in case they need DPD. Thank you.
Yes, we will.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Woods?
How you doing?
Didn't you?
Great. I saw something very disturbing on TV yesterday on Channel 7 where a car was apparently stolen in Ferndale and apparently was recovered here in the city of Detroit. And it was at the Detroit Police Towing Yard as reported. First of all, I want to verify if that's true or not. And if it is true, what system is in place to make sure that that never happen again, that holding on to someone's car for months and causing the insurance company to have to pay this person out, and then this lady don't have her car anymore. That was very disturbing to see. Please update us on that.
So yes, Commissioner Woods, that actually is true. There was obviously a process failure. We're going to have an investigation completed in that. With regard to that, we did have our captain of tow reach out to her to speak with her and actually to the insurance company as well, that we can see how we can get that situation fixed. Anytime that there is a failure on our part, we try to mitigate that. We try to recover and fix that and reach out to those people who aren't impacted by that. So I do want you to know that is true. I was highly disturbed about that as well, and we're working to fix that.
Yeah, please update us on what's in place and keep us updated on that investigation. Again, that's very disturbing, and I would like to see an audit of the process, making sure that no one else's car is being held up like that.
Will do.
Thank you. Any other questions for DC?
Through the chair.
Yes, Commissioner Camille?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your report, Chief. And thank you, Commissioner Woods, for raising the concern. I'm interested in seeing the results of that investigation and an audit on that as well in regards to the vehicle. Couple questions for you, Chief. So if an officer is passing by a car accident and gets flagged down by one of the individuals in the accident, if they're not on an active run, are they required to provide assistance even if the accident happens outside of their assigned district? Or
Of
are
course.
they supposed to move on?
Through the chair, of course.
Yeah, okay, all right, I just want to be sure of that. And then I'm looking at the response time report, and they're broken down by priority 1 and priority 2. Where would a car accident fall? Would it fall in priority 1 or 2, or does it depend on the nature of the accident?
So just through the chair, a vehicle accident is not a priority 1 or a priority 2. Priority 1 deals with violent crimes. Priority 2 deals with property crimes. Accidents are not classified as either.
Okay, thank you. Is it possible to get a report showing average response times for vehicle accidents?
For vehicle accidents, we'll have to look into that. I'm sure we could provide some information to you regarding that.
Okay, thank you.
It would fall into, quite frankly, accidents would fall into total response time. So you're looking at response times for priority 1 and priority 2, but obviously they're still dispatched to accidents. So we'll get you that information. I want to make sure I got you the right information.
Thank you so much, appreciate that. The next question I have is around the 911 call center. And I wanted to know if the call center representatives are given any type of soft skills training in addition to their technical and procedural training?
So through the chair, I would assume they are. Unfortunately, I'm not aware, but if you, we'll find you that information out. I would imagine that they are provided the tools on how to respond to the numerous traumatic calls that are coming in. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in here.
I'm right here, DC. Through the chair, Commander Russell, I'm over 911 in Crime Intelligence Unit. They are provided soft skill training as it relates to customer service training. Call takers and dispatchers, so for call takers, approximately 16 to 18 weeks of training. That includes mental health training, that includes legal training, and of course, different things that we need as far as the phone and different ways of taking a call that's on the floor. As far as dispatch training, that is a 19 to 20-week curriculum as well. So.
Commander, while you're up here, can you answer the call with regard to dispatching to accident scenes?
So it depends. It depends if it's an accident with injury. So an accident, which could be a critical accident, which could be a priority 2, if somebody was actually injured or we think that somebody's fatality, obviously that would be a priority 1. A regular accident, though, could be a priority 3. It just depends on how it's called in. And then, of course, there's our accidents that's out there where a citizen has already left the scene and potentially went to a precinct. So that means they're not in immediate danger, which will require a 1 or 2 response. So that would not meet that element.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. So to your answer regarding 911 center, is it possible for the board to see a copy of that curriculum, the soft skills portion of the curriculum?
Yep, I have a whole training directive I can send you.
Awesome, thank you so much for that. And then, so if someone does have a car accident and no one's injured, would they get resolution more quickly by just going to the precinct to report it, or should they really wait there for an officer to arrive?
I mean, both locations are available to you, so it's really it's up to the citizen, but both of the locations are available to you.
Okay.
It probably, Commissioner, would depend on whether or not their vehicle is drivable.
That part too. Thank you so much for that. The last thing, and I'm glad that Commissioner Watts brought up the crime scene services visit. I do have a couple more questions and concerns in that space. I mentioned during the visit that the office where the techs have their computers and they're making their reports, I would like to see a deep cleaning in that space. I know it's a garage and was part of a garage. There's a door closing it off, and there's dust coming in at a higher than normal level for an office. Certainly not expecting for it to be pristine, but between the techs and the cleaning crew, it would be good at this point to get a really good cleaning in there. There's quite a bit of dust in the workspaces and the kitchenette area as well. It was just not acceptable in my opinion. I am glad, though, to see that some of the pictures that we saw, like where the biohazard bags were on the floor. There's a container, a biohazard container there now to collect the gloves and other contaminated materials that are not being held for evidence. So I was glad to see that. And that also, I think one of the pictures we saw actually was a storage room where the techs aren't actually doing work in there. They're collecting items to go out and do work elsewhere. So was glad to see that as well. Lastly, in regards to the visit, certainly appreciate the chief sending so much top brass to meet us at the facility. I personally just am not interested really in seeing productions when we're coming to see a facility, although, you know, we appreciate you all taking the time. As oversight, it's important that we see what's happening in real life. And so going forward, I'm requesting that commissioners actually be able to see DPD facilities without advance notice so that we can see what's happening in real time rather than having to wait 2 weeks.
Well, certainly, Commissioner, you all are welcome to go to, you know, your numerous precincts. Some of these facilities and these bureaus may have seizures issues, so you probably still would need to coordinate with our office regarding some of these facilities. They're just not open facilities.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Also in regards to
sorry.
that.
Commissioner Camille, were you finished?
I did have 2 more in regards to CSS, if you don't mind, Commissioner.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. So is it possible for us to get a list of the locations, all the locations where evidence is stored and processed? Because one of the other clarifications that we got is that at that location, except for the vehicles that are being held there and whatever evidence is within those vehicles, no other evidence is actually being stored there, which is good because the facility is not suited for that. But it will be good to know all the other locations where DPD is storing evidence and where it's being processed. And then also, there were concerns raised in regards to the curriculum or the training that the CSS staff is getting. So is it possible for us to get a copy of their curriculum as well?
Yes, it is possible for you to get a copy of the curriculum. And as far as, who's your first question?
In regards to the list of locations?
Yes,
where,
yes.
Evidence is stored and processed?
Yes, so when crimes occur, evidence techs take the initial evidence for processing to the precincts, and then once is entered into the system and whatnot there, they bring it actually here. Evidence is stored here in headquarters.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Ivey.
Commissioner Camille already tapped on it, so thank you for that, Commissioner Camille. I just wanted to assure the public that those evidence are not stored in those garages like they were led to believe, that they are handled very efficiently, very cautiously. And so anyone who might be thinking that their loved one's evidence or evidence just spirited around, it's not. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, for the tour.
No, thank you all for coming. A lot of you all showed up, and you were able to see the process, to see the location, to see how this occurs, and gain an understanding. So that certainly, you know, as commissioners, you can allow your districts to know that, you know, this is not a failure of a whole process around here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Watson and Commissioner Woods.
Yes, on that point real quick, and I just remembered this yesterday while we were there for the visit. I don't know if you recall, if I asked a question when we were in the bio room where you're actually putting, you're putting it into the dryer, as we called it yesterday. And then I know gloves are being worn, but I asked, was there like the jumpsuit, you know, the plastic rubber jumpsuit that's also being worn to really ensure that nothing is being contaminated? And your staff, he responded, he said it's optional. I think that should be mandatory. You know, I wish you guys could look at that, because gloves are one thing, but if you're handling some kind of where you're looking at could be evidence, and you're putting it in there, you could get cross-contamination from their clothes. So I think it would be great just to have that, especially if you have that on hand in your supplies, just to make it mandatory, just like it's mandatory to wear the gloves while you're handling any materials. Thank you.
For that noted, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Woods.
Yes, as it relates to the third precinct, the locker room for the officers in terms of the flooding in that locker room, what steps is being done to correct that and to ensure that this flooding stop over there?
So thank you for that, Commissioner. There has been a number of complaints with regard to the flooding in the third precinct. there's an issue with the piping over there, and there's also a lot of man-made issues with regard to the 3rd precinct. Certainly, when we're notified, we send GSD out there. We put any issues within cardiograph. If we need to deep clean, we definitely go over there and we deep clean the facility. Any fixes that we can do, we definitely do that, and we certainly do that in collaboration with GSD. And we keep a accurate listing of all of the issues that we've had. That is a long-standing historic issue over there in that precinct, so it's something that we monitor and we have to stay over. And we've mitigated that in a number of ways, putting hand dryers in there. We certainly are in the process of putting signs, please don't flush certain things. Just a number of different avenues we use to address that. So unfortunately, until they're moved into another building, it's just an issue that we'll continue to mitigate.
Okay, so is there so it's just a piping issue and then it's a man-made issue?
Is
the man-made issue, is that malicious?
I would not say it's malicious. That's a very strong word, but I would say the officers probably could do a little better sometimes with some of the things that are they're disposing of, and the piping. I'm not a. They're disposing of when you're flushing items into the system is the best way I'll put it. Certain things should not be flushed, and it causes a backup in the piping in the system, so then you have to snake it. And if I'm not mistaken, that area is also like a City of Detroit pipe a little further out that gets caught. They've looked into that extensively over there in that issue, but part of it, when I say man-made, is not flushing certain things.
Okay, now let me ask you this: is there an alternative space for them to be able to, have for their locker room? Because you want, if it's something that is happening too much, is there an alternative space for them?
So there is not an alternative space for them. That is the bathroom. That's not their locker room. That is the bathroom that's occurring in.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions for Commissioner Bowman?
Yeah, and two different topics, so I don't know if I need to rotate around on the second one or if I could just do them back to back.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. The first one regards your response to Commissioner Camille's question regarding impromptu visits and CJIS compliance. And in looking up CJIS and reading about it, I see that it's a federal set of guidelines followed by federal agencies. Now, it may be best practices for us to follow many of those policies, but maybe some of them don't mesh with the Detroit Charter as far as civilian oversight goes, and it doesn't look like it's anything that's obligatory for us. Can you tell me something else?
Yeah, so again, certainly it would just depend on the facility, the type of work that they're doing in that location. CJIS clearance is CJIS clearance. It is the federal standard by which all law enforcement agencies, whether it's local or whether it's federal, are abided by. We would certainly not want to lose our licensing as a law enforcement agency behind such matters. But with that regard, again, I hate that it was determined that we put on a show for you all. Certainly, we knew that the board was coming out, and there have been a number of complaints made within this meeting, if you will. So surely we wanted to be there to meet you and understand and make sure you understand what was going on, answer any questions that you may have. So certainly that's why members of our executive staff was there. Yeah. Everyone else there actually works in the building.
Can I follow up on this? Because this is still the first topic, but.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you. The federal, okay, you said it applies to all law enforcement agencies in licensing. So local law enforcement must be licensed by the federal government?
What I'm saying is CJIS stands for Criminal Justice Information Systems, which is why I stated it depends on the building that you're going into. CJIS CJIS information, we all have to take tests with regard to CJIS information. That's with regard to personal identifying information that can't be left out. Criminal histories or case files on investigative matters can't be left out for the public to see. So that's CJIS. There are CJIS requirements that all law enforcement officers or agencies, there's a standard that we're held to. So that's just CJIS. So I don't know if this is probably the form to, she asked for what buildings or where they can go unannounced. Surely, as an agency, you can come into our locations because you are a board of police commissioners. It's just understanding and ensuring that it is a building that's going to be open, that we're just not popping up, and B, that someone is aware that you all are coming, because some of the facilities are not open just for a number of reasons.
Okay, I guess I'm interested in the constitutional basis here, because it just seems like there's a matter of the 10th Amendment limitations on federal reach, and it just doesn't seem like that meshes with what I'm hearing. The other question the other matter I just want to bring up is, while I was impressed that a lot of the things we were worried about being exposed to the conditions that we had seen in some of those pictures were not necessary for us to worry about, because items weren't being stored there, for one thing, and that there was a transition process, and even then, things were pretty well closed up between, for instance, being brought in and put in the dryer. What remains, and I brought this up when I was present as well, is it is very dusty, and a lot of things are visibly dirty. Whether or not that has any contact with evidence, it definitely gives the appearance of possible dirtiness. And I guess there is a problem with the people in charge of the cleaning. And I don't want to make our crime scene technicians have to do the cleaning, but it seems like maybe they need to expand the cleaning services, because I heard one reason given, like, well, it's a garage, but like a friend of mine used to own a auto dealership, and I used to, get my car worked on at the dealership, and actually even now when I go to a different one, and they have a garage, and it looks a lot cleaner. So, just bringing this up.
Well, thank you for that. Part of the plan is to try and move those over to another facility. We are in the process of working those details out. So thank you for that. Surely we'll definitely have further conversations with our cleaning vendors to see if they can do a little bit better of a job over there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woods?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
No, I just want to thank the officers that did come out and let us view what we viewed at the crime scene location. It definitely was not the same as what was introduced to the public. So
Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Chief, for that report. We appreciate it, and for answering all of our questions.
You're welcome.
Our next item on the agenda is oral communications and public comment. Just a reminder that comments are limited to 2 minutes. Inappropriate language and comments will not be tolerated and may delay TV broadcasts and video posts. Could we have our first speaker, please?
Our first speaker will be Dr. Dudley, followed by Ms. Bernice Smith and Minister Eric Blunt.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. It's good afternoon. My name is Dr. Renee Dudley, and I am the president and CEO of a nonprofit on the east side of Detroit called the Youth Connection, and I chair the Love Detroit Prevention Coalition. One of the things that we do quite a bit of is to look at substance use prevention among our youth. In about 2017, we were approached by the DEA to help them with facilitating the DEA take back in the city of Detroit. We have a strong partnership with the Detroit Police Department, and twice a year in April and October, coming up on April 25th, is the DEA take back. The reason why this is so important is, one, to get unwanted, unused, and expired medication out of your cabinets and into safe disposal. Environmental safety, don't flush them down a toilet, don't throw them in the trash. And so two things happened. In September of 2025, we were able to get permanent take-back boxes in every Detroit police precinct, which means that citizens can go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to their precinct to get rid of any unwanted pills. And on the 25th, they are going to be disposed of by the DEA. Now, the issue is that we need every citizen in the city of Detroit to clean out their medicine cabinets to get these pills out of their homes. And so we have worked with our police precincts. We have a competition between the precincts. And since 2018, we have taken back over 6 million pills. The idea, however, is to continue to do so, to get unwanted pills out, protect for diversion, all that good stuff. The competition is to win the golden throne, which is a toilet I spray painted gold, but the guys compete for it, all right? And so the 11th precinct is the reigning champions. So Commissioner, it's in your area that they are winning, and they're saying they're going to hold on to it. So we want to challenge all of the districts to get their citizens to bring unwanted, unused medication to the precincts on the 25th from 10 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. We have flyers with a code on it that'll say where they could take it, even if they're not in the city and they got relatives, they could do it. The other big thing is that we have to take out Ohio. The DEA said that Michigan is in the top 5, but Ohio is number 1, and we can't have that.
1 second, please. Commissioner Woods has a question.
Yep. I just want to uplift Dr. Dudley for the great work that she's doing, not only in Detroit, but throughout the state and the country. Had the pleasure to be with her in Washington, D.C. about a month or two ago. And Chief Bedison so happened to come down there, as well as Scott Benson, city council member, and the presentation that they did was very, very stellar. And I'm asking that we make sure that it's on our website or on our Facebook page as relates to the flyers, and if you have any physical flyers or some flyers for us to be able to take into our districts, I think it's vitally important that we protect our environment from these toxic pills. But thank you, Dr. Dudley, for the great work. And it'd probably be good for her to come and do a presentation for the community on some of the stuff that she's doing as relates to drugs in our community, especially among young people. So thank you very kindly for what you're doing.
Thank you. We do have flyers for every district, and also we're going to email you a flyer, so if you want to print them out or send them out. The scan code is for anywhere in the United States, but just know that it is for, in Detroit, they can go to any Detroit police precinct. So currently, those are the ones that are going to be open on the 25th.
Thank you. One more, couple more.
Thank you. Just a real quick comment. First of all, I want to thank you for your effort. This is great, especially for our environment, our community. And you definitely, if you have flyers here today, if you can make sure our board secretary have it, I would love to take some today.
Okay.
Thank you.
We got them for each precinct. Where do we?
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, our next speaker, please.
Okay, she left her flyer. Okay. Good afternoon to my commissioners and my baby over here that I don't see very often, only with the chief. Good seeing you, baby. I love her dearly. I'm not telling you why, but you just take my word for it. I love her dearly.
Praise the Lord.
Yes. You know what? I didn't hear the news I usually watch it on 11 o'clock, but I did not hear the news saying all of this was going on downtown. Oh my God, and I'm not too far from downtown. But the fact is, it started before the summer has started. What is going to happen? Do they think they're going to get away with it? My suggestion, and I want you to start early, give out them tickets and have enough police down there to control those kids, because you know what they can do if they can get away with whatever that they have on their mind to do. So please, I beg you, have enough police down there and do your duty, because I know you're going to do a good job, whatever it is. But the fact is, we can't let them get started, and it's not even summertime yet. April just coming in, and they done started already doing all this. I didn't hear it over the news. But the fact is, please, don't let these youngsters get away with it. My suggestion, get to their parents. Bring them in, and don't release them until their parents come and get them. Then when the parents come, you put a fine on them, at least $100 to $200, all right? I'm suggesting this to you because if you hit them in the pocketbook, then they'll take more advantage of knowing what their children are doing. I raised 5, and I knew where every one of mine was and what they were doing. So I'm not too old to realize that it's control can be done with these kids. And please do that for me. It wasn't even on the news. I didn't see it on the news. But I want you to do your job as police, and I know you're going to do a darn good job because I love you, and I want you to be safe out here. I tell you that all the time whenever I see you. But don't let them get away with it. This is just the beginning of the summer, and I got time up, I see. But do what I asked you to do. Give them parents hell and bring them down to court. When you arrest them, bring the parents down there also, and I bet you'll get some results. If you don't, see me about it. I'll talk to them.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm Minister Eric Blunt from Sacred Heart Catholic Church right here in Detroit. I had a Lenten pledge not to cuss, so there's a few more days left. I have a rule not to cuss in front of children, so you're really safe.
Thank the Lord.
Today. Yeah, I'll get you tomorrow. But I haven't been here in a while, going through some issues with a family member, but it's the same thing. And Commissioner Williams, I don't mean to pick on you, but it's just so obvious. When you give awards to employees that are not yours, what does that tell about how your relationship is? And I always use the Michigan Public Service Commission because the utilities are a monopoly. They are the oversight for the utilities. You'll never see anybody at a Michigan Public Service Commission meeting taking time to give out an award for DTE or consumers or any other utility. It just reeks of the relationship that is wrong between this board and the police department. So nothing against you. I've said it before for years. I've said it to each and every one of you. The people's body-worn camera ordinance that we're trying to get adopted by City Council is for exactly what happened in downtown, in the downtown services, and their use of force against the youth gathering. We'd like that type of footage to be available within days, no longer than a week. We deserve to know what actually happened. And yes, I follow Christ, and he says I am the truth. We don't care what side of the aisle truth falls on. All we want to know is the truth. But when DPD is at fault, there's so much foot dragging that you just know something else is going on. There's some manipulation of the data. For the budget presentation today, the budget should be functional by precinct, major groups, and surveillance systems.
Minister Blunt.
So if you decide to go against facial recognition technology, you know how much you're saving. Just in dollars, not in the lives destroyed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Ms. Williams, and then we'll go into Zoom.
I gotta bring my stuff up. There's so many thieves up in here. Hello, people. Okay, last week I live in and I was speaking about ex-offenders on the Detroit Police Department and my life being in danger for quite some time. But because I've been complaining about ex-offenders on the Detroit Police Department and non-American citizens voting in this election process. But somebody came into my apartment last week. illegally. Detroit Police Department, such was that as an ex-offender that works at the 3rd Precinct, but she lives underneath me. She got a crazy daughter that continues to break inside of my apartment. It's not acceptable, and I'm tired of it. Oh, man, she works for League Property Management. All these people that I'm speaking about are ex-offenders on the Detroit Police Department, except okay. So this nut continued to break inside my apartment, cut my clothes up, dresses, mess with my wigs. I'm tired of it. And then when you come into my apartment and tamper with my chopper and put oil in it and make it jam up, it's not acceptable. So when I go to make these reports around to the 3rd, and whoever is taking these reports, if you do not label them correctly, you will be held accountable, because that's a criminal report, not a general report, and you're going to be held accountable for not doing your job correctly when people continue to call in favors. I come to these meetings all the time for my cases, so you can't say you are not aware what I've been talking about for all these years. Not just to show up. I'm tired of this. I seen on the bus, the man that raped me. He been transferred to how many different precincts? He on a different shift. He gonna get off the bus and smile at me like it's okay. This is not acceptable. You all better wake up. It's almost too late. I'm not moving. No, I'm not gonna disrespect you, Mom. Okay, so why should I move when ex-offenders taking the house?
Next speaker.
We're going to Zoom. Our next 3 speakers will be, our first speaker is Michael's mama, Ms. Tara Brown, and former Commissioner William Davis.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm Michael's mom. First thing I'd like to say is, I'd like to have departments set or groups set up specifically for finding missing persons in Detroit. I'd also like to be directly involved in said department or group. I would also like for it to be in honor or in Michael's name. To the young lady, the elder, my elder, you stated that you hadn't seen the fiasco that happened downtown with the kids, but it's really not just the kids. It's the system as a whole. So if we give the kids something to do, they will do it. They have nothing to do. The system isn't designed for productivity. It's not set up like that for us. And so I would suggest that, like the hooping for cops, what are the precincts doing? First and foremost, are every precinct involved with that? If they are, how come the community doesn't know that these things exist? I would think that you guys should do due diligence and making sure that each precinct that is involved in it go out to the community and go ahead and recruit some of these kids. I'd also like to say that there needs to be, in order for it to be the bridging of the gaps, the community has to take place. The community has a place that they need to stand and take an oath to, but the cops do too. And so you guys have these different departments, like the neighborhood department, have them. It should be weekly or monthly events for the community, for the youth. That way it can be under a controlled environment versus it just being these random block parties, these random shootings, these random gatherings. You guys could actually conduct these things and reach out to each community and the city council district member.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon, Commission. This is Tara Brown, and I'm listening to this conversation about the crime scene services, and I'm really disappointed because I've heard more conversation around body cam videos and immigration than I heard about this crime scene service garage. Evidence should not be being processed in a garage, and I don't know why that makes sense to anybody there. Nobody should want a cleaning They need to be moved up out of there. They should be processing evidence in the public safety headquarters where the state of Michigan MSP is processing evidence and crime scene materials. That location, you all asked for that visit to the location 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's a reason you didn't get it, because they were cleaning it. I just got calls and have been on the phone with people who work there and people who used to work there saying none of what is being said is true. So that's my first issue. My second issue is my commissioner is asking for a MIOSHA report that I sent to the entire board on March 30th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Right now, the only questions you all should be asking is, were all the MIOSHA abatements completed and when? And why hasn't there been an exposure control plan since 2018? You should also be asking, was the $10,000 fine paid, or did they take advantage of the appeal and get the things fixed that needed to be fixed? Have prosecutors been notified about the findings of MIOSHA? Has an assessment been conducted regarding the potential impact on criminal cases of this crime scene services office? They are doing everything those people said that they are doing. They have no reason to come here and lie to you, and nobody staged those pictures. Those were actual pictures before that crime scene service office was clean. As a matter of fact, you should have been asking when was the last time it was clean before Vicky asked for a visit. You all look really gullible, and I'm thoroughly disappointed because I thought you'd be a better commission than the last one we had, but I see you all are going to be worse because you're going to believe everything they tell y'all. Have a good
Next speaker.
Former Commissioner Davis, go ahead and speak, please.
Good afternoon. Could I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I have a few things I want to raise. I wanted to, commissioners get knowledge when there's a dead body on the street. I mention this because I drove past Rosa Parks and West Grand Boulevard, like on the 23rd, a little bit after 9 a.m. And there was a body that was on the street for quite a while. In fact, I got like 3 or 4 calls about that. Do people get notification about that? Also, you know, I think that we should be finding stuff for our young people to do, like, you know, with extended hours for rec centers, you know, jobs for, you know, young people. I know that helped keep me out of trouble, because I could have gotten into a whole lot of trouble when I was young, and things are worse now. Also, as I mentioned before, I think y'all should be doing public service announcements, because I know there was some done in the past, because you should let people know the stuff that's available, you know, like gun locks and places they could take their pills, and, you know, the unused and used pills. And, you know, we need to make sure that the Board of Police Commissioners looks in a better light than it currently does. But especially, we need to make sure, instead of talking about giving a bunch of young people tickets and things like that, we need to be finding things for them to do. You know, and, you know, a lot of them need jobs, a lot of them need recreation facilities. We need to do public service announcements about the fact that school kids can now ride the bus for free 7 days a week. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff that y'all should be informing the public about, and y'all should occasionally, at least quarterly, do town halls on different themes. There's a whole lot of stuff y'all could be doing, and hopefully y'all will start doing more. Because I know when I was a police commissioner, I had an office at the 2nd Precinct, and I used to let people meet me up there. So y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Okay, we have some comments. Go ahead, Commissioner Morris.
Just very quickly, it's easy for somebody to come up here and say, well, the board needs to do more, the police need to do more. We have, the Detroit Police Department have a program where they're doing sports, the basketball teams for the precincts. You know, they're getting prom dresses for the young ladies for prom. They're collecting ties, you know, things of that nature. The recreation hours have been extended. If you watch the State of the City address, it have been extended to 11 p.m. What has to happen is parents have to do their part as well. Know where your kids is at.
Yes.
Raise your kids. You know, be in your kids' lives, get in their business, know what they're doing. So when you say the tickets, they shouldn't be giving tickets, I understand that. But what you see out here in society oftentimes a reflection of what's happening behind closed doors. A lot of these kids, they don't respect their parents, they don't respect authority, and then they come out here in the community and the police is left to deal with it, and you're in a compromised situation because you do see a lot of times the youth try to fight the police. People come, they're so quick to jump in the middle of the altercation, film it, only release certain parts of it, make it go viral, and now people come before us, what's the board going to do? So, it starts at home. That's where it starts. Parents, know where your kids are, be involved in your kids' life, get them signed up for the program. The city of Detroit has a lot of programs, a lot of them that are already in existence. So it's all a matter of choice. That's what it comes down to, making the choice because the option is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any others? Commissioner
Through the
Ivey?
chair, I just want to say 100% in agreement with what Commissioner Morris just said. Accountability, number one. Number two, we've been on this job 3 months and we've done a heck of a lot of work. So if anybody think we're supposed to just jump in and do what you say do, it does not work like that. We need proof that of the things you're saying. Once you give us the proof, we're on the job. Let's be clear. We only been here 3 months. Give us a chance. And I'm going to end it with this. Everything Commissioner Morris said is what I was going to say. I'm a mother of 4 amazing adult children. And there was never a time I did not know where my children were, what they were doing, and who they were hanging out with. And you best believe I snatched them up when they weren't supposed to be where they was at. So the parents start taking accountability and stop pointing the finger and expecting for this board and the police department to raise your children, because that's not what we're here for. Take accountability, get involved in your children's lives, stay on top of them, put a little paddle to them behinds, and they'll start to act right. That's mine.
Don't put the paddle.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you this, when I say the paddle, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't mean break bones and bloody noses, but them thighs and buttocks, it'll be all right.
Any other comments? Commissioner Bowman?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on the comment about the processing at crime scene services. Now, my comments that I made about the dust and so forth, part of it is impressions that it makes. The second part, though, is dust in the air. I am concerned about some kind of transfer happening to evidence during the brief time that it is going through there. That is the extent of my concern about that, because as far as any other processing, they process motor vehicles to the extent that they have to be processed on site, and otherwise they're taking what's collected, if anything, from the motor vehicle somewhere else. The other thing that might be called processing, they showed us, was there's a dryer that anything that is soaked, basically things like soaked in by, human fluids, blood, for instance, they dry out to keep it from degrading and the various reactions and molding and so forth that can happen when you have something that's wet. Beyond that, there isn't a lab there. There isn't processing in the sense of doing any analysis of samples there. That all goes somewhere else. I mean, based upon what they showed us, and they walked us through at least the entire building that had those rooms in it, as well as another building on the way to and from, and we didn't see any evidence that there was additional processing of anything there. So I just wanted to follow up on what our observations say relative to that.
Thank you.
Chair.
Commissioner Camille?
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Bowman. So can I ask a question to the chief? Can you just clarify for the public and maybe for commissioners that weren't there, 'cause this term processing is very generic that's being used. So what do you mean when the department says processing the vehicles and the evidence that's in the vehicles at that garage? And then the other piece of it is, as what Commissioner Bowman mentioned, is the drying of the maybe clothes or whatever that is wet, that then is packaged to be sent for storage as evidence somewhere else. But Chief, can you just explain what is meant by processing at that location?
Yes, through the board. So processing, for example, when you talk about in terms of vehicle, the vehicles that are sent to that location are evidence vehicles. So they will be transported there. Once there, they will be searched if there's for any additional fruits of the crime. The vehicle will be processed, if you will, in terms of dusting for fingerprints, searching, and collecting any type of biological DNA or whatnot that is on the vehicle, whether it's blood evidence or something along those lines. That is what you would be determined as processing for a vehicle. If you're talking about processing, as Commissioner Bowman stated, he brought up the dryer. You and him brought up the dryer. That is a special dryer that processes, that dries out biological evidence. So, for example, you may have a homicide and they are cutting the clothes of the victim off of them and they're soaked in blood. They first have to go to this location in this special dryer in which it dries out the clothing material. It dries the blood inside of this dryer, and it's wrapped in paper. So that would be the process. And so once it's dried, they remove it, they tag it up as evidence, and they transport it somewhere else. Other evidence collected from crime, maybe there is a knife on the scene from a homicide or an aggravated assault. Responding officers will take it from the scene, take it to the precinct, enter into the evidence system, bag it up, and so forth, and then they will bring it here to the property evidence unit here in headquarters. That's what that means by processing.
Thank you for that clarification. So, through the chair.
No, if you're, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're fine.
So if the biological evidence is collected from a vehicle, can you just like what type of container is it going in to be transported here to be stored?
Typically speaking, if you're talking about taking, that's a swab, so it will go into an envelope. If you're talking about taking prints, that is transported in some type of tape mechanism, and then it goes into an envelope and is transported here.
Thank you, through the chair.
Okay.
Through the chair, I just have one quick question.
I think that Commissioner Watts was first, and then Commissioner Ivey.
Mine is just real quick. I just wanted to comment on a statement basically with any of us. The public is welcome to always email us documents, which we encourage that, no matter what report there is. But also, when we're asking the agency to give us a copy of an official report, that's what we need to get as well. So I just wanted to put that on the record. We're always welcome to anybody to give us any email and send us information they may have from the public, but also we need to have that official document coming from DPD. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Ivey.
And just to hover around evidence, when you say you're taking clothing off of a deceased, the deceased is not coming to that garage, are they?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I was when you said, I'm like, okay, thank you for clarifying.
No, absolutely
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Through the chair, I'm sorry. One other question, and this is in relation to the last public commenter, Mr. Davis, who mentioned a body that he saw. I'm looking through my notifications. I don't see anything. Do you mind just going back to check to see if there was an incident on West Grand Boulevard and Rosa Parks on the 23rd that DPD is looking into?
We will look for you, Commissioner Camille, for former Commissioner Davis. Obviously, if there's a body on the street, I would hope that someone would have called 911 and we would have went to the scene. Certainly, even former Commissioner Davis could have called 911 and we'd get to the scene and investigate if that person is deceased, if they're injured and they require an EMS, any number of issue with that person. But if 3 or 4 people saw it and was contacting, I would hope that they were also calling 911.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Murphy,
Yeah, I think,
Commissioner
through the chair, I think Investigator Warfield had a comment about that, or did you?
Go ahead, CI.
Just real quick, through the chair, there was a body, police was there to respond to that call, but there was a body at that location that was recorded.
Thank you.
Okay.
If we could just get an update from the department on that case, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Or next speaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll go back into Zoom. Our next caller is Littlefield Eaton Block Club President. After her, it would be Mr. Teron Hayes, and then Mr. Smith, and then we have one public commenter in the room, and that would be the end of public comments.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joanna, Littlefield Eden Block Club President, and I was getting on just to thank my commissioner, Commissioner Camille, but I actually want to thank you all, and I want to comment on one of the statements. The commissioner's only been in for 3 months, and we need to give them a little bit of grace, a little bit of time to get in, figure out all of the things that came before us. And some of this stuff should have been addressed at the budget meeting. I'm hoping some of you all were there to address those concerns and actually listen to the Mayor Sheffield on the things that she said. So things are happening, but we just have to be a little bit more patient, address our concerns without, trying to say, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I do have meetings every second Wednesday of the month. The second precinct have their second every second Tuesday of the month. Bethune Community have their meeting every third Tuesday of the month. We have to come to these meetings to get educated instead of throwing the hands and fingers at what someone isn't doing. What are we going to do? And as speaking as a mother, I have an 8-year-old. I'm so in tune to everything he does, and I'm being an activist for him right now to get him involved with things and saying what we need for the kids to do. So let's just be a little bit more patient and give these commissioners a round of applause for what they have done for these 3 months, because I know my commissioner has chimed in and we are in tune. Commissioner Morris, he's doing a lot. I don't know all of you all names, but them two off the top for sure is involved with me and have gave me reliable resources. So I thank you all for that, and you keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you,
Ms. Joanna.
Next speaker.
Hello, Madam Chair, may I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Hi, Teron Hayes, District 5. First off, I want to thank the Board of Police for actually going and investigating the claims that we made about the Crime Scene Services building. I also want to thank the Police Department for opening that up to them, although I do criticize their availability with that. That being said, I do want to speak to this idea of what processing evidence is. I know that when the meeting occurred at the building, I know that the board likely didn't speak to all of the text or most of the text in depth about their roles and their duties. I'll say what the department is saying about processing evidence at that location is completely untrue. As early as a couple days ago, technicians were processing evidence in that reports room because they had no idea that they were not supposed to. Throughout my whole tenure, which was 4 years at that department, I have never, ever been told that I was not supposed to process evidence in that reports room. Furthermore, even if we were to process evidence at one of the precincts, we'd only be exchanging one report room for another. Throughout this whole time that I've been advocating for this change, I have been saying that there needs to be a safe, clean, and sterile place for evidence to be processed. And what evidence can be processed, what that also means is, say there is biological evidence on a physical item. So if I swab evidence, I could be processing that evidence at these locations, and that is not appropriate. That is not forensic sound forensic practice outlined through any of our education or within the discipline. So I would just like to say that if the board would like to truly get an idea of what these individuals do, they would actually go talk to these individuals without the department there. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowman?
Yeah, is there any chance I could ask the caller a question if he's willing to respond?
I don't know. Madam Secretary?
Through the chair, Commissioner Bowman, I think we have Mr. Haynes' information, and so afterwards.
All right, I'll contact him on my own
Get
then.
the information, but once they hang up, there's no room on Zoom room for the person to go to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker?
Good afternoon. May I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Jadante Smith for the record. I see DC Stewart is in the room. Hello to you. There are a lot of issues with the towing section of Detroit Police Department. I also want to say I'm very disappointed to hear how some of this stuff is being handled. I was just there last week in person with my 7-year-old, and he was very, very defiant and didn't listen. So, like, I do side with the police. You know, people do have to deal with their own kids, but kids don't listen. And I think I'm a very good parent, and kids are who they are. But also, when it comes to the crime scene services, and the processing of evidence. No way that there should be an impound garage processing evidence, because I know too many people who have deceased loved ones or who have been victimized by crime, like Miss Brown, not Tara, who comes down here and says she's been sexually assaulted. And for any evidence in that type of case to be processed in any type of unsterile environment would be egregious to the process. Also, I've been getting so many calls, and I've been tagged in a lot of Facebook not statuses, but in a post recently about officers who have been unbecoming in their conduct. There's apparently one officer who was suspended because they barged into a house with no warrant, with no full probable cause, looking for some suspect who was possibly not even in the residence. I guess they didn't have correct evidence or intel, and they hurt a 4-year-old child. And only one officer seems to be in trouble. And one officer can be seen in the video very clearly knocking the door almost off the hinges. Like, he hit the door so hard, anybody behind the door would have been seriously injured. I think this conduct is unbecoming of any officer, and all 3 to 4 officers that I seen in that video should all be suspended, because if you violate a person's 4th Amendment, the lawsuits behind actions like those are ridiculous. And also, if Conrad Mallett is in the room, you need to leave this board. You are sitting on this board and you're listening to, as you would call it, discovery, and you're telling elected officials how to hold police officers accountable. Then you, at the end, same opposite of the token, represent them, which is really terrible. Also, I want to give a shout out to Commissioner Morris. You're doing a good job. Appreciate what you're doing in your district.
Our last speaker.
Madam Chair. I have a question for the chief as a follow-up to the comments that were just made. I just wanted to confirm, Chief, you mentioned an incident earlier that's under investigation right now. There was an officer that was placed on, did you say desk duty? I can't remember exactly. Yes, okay, perfect. So I want to confirm that that's the incident that is being discussed here. And if you could, I know it's an open investigation, there's more to look at, but can you confirm if any civilians were injured in that incident?
Through the chair, so that is the same incident that I spoke about earlier. I cannot confirm at this point in time. I actually saw the video just before I came into this meeting, so I don't have the circumstances or the context around what particularly happened and whether or not anyone was injured.
Thank you.
Okay, next speaker.
Our last speaker, Madam Chair, is Cunningham.
I'm sorry, just as you stated, just for clarification, he is placed on admin duty on the desk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Hello. I always give out my number, 313-444-9114, 313-444-9114. We should always pray for our police department, pray for our commissioners. It's important. And since DDOT took over, I'm a transit advocate. DDOT took over policing for DDOT. I see improvements. I was actually assaulted downtown near the transit center, and I think there should be more cameras in front of the AT&T building, which so many buses stop right in that vicinity there. So I don't know if that's a DPD thing or, because I do see cameras, but I think there should be more Project Greenlight cameras in that vicinity. Also, the neighborhood police and this body, thank God you guys have parking, but I always harp on having parking and validated parking and bus tickets for those that come down to the meeting. So you guys have
half of that, you have parking. So I want to know if there's any way possible I could donate 10 4-hour passes in case you ever get someone needing to get back and forth. Not everybody has money. The fare is $2 for 4 hours. And so I usually find my own resources, and, God is making a way out of no way. So I just want to know if I could. I have 4-hour passes and 2 7-day passes that I would like to donate to the commission in case anyone comes. Actually, 3 7-day passes in case anyone comes taking the bus. They can get to and fro. We got to look out for the least of these, as the Bible says. And anyone that calls me and needs a 31-day pass, when anyone donates to me, I pay it forward. Nothing stays in my hands. And so this 31-day pass, just hit me up at 313-444-9114. And also my plate says no luck. I like it, but it's getting flagged. And I said it last week, and so I did get a response. They said they tried to correct the problem with DPD, but they can't correct it with all police precincts. So anyway, about these bus tickets, I would love to get it in somebody's hands. Thank you.
If you could please hand them to thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. Next on our agenda, was that the last speaker?
Yes, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Next on our agenda, we have a presentation by the DPD, on our DPD budget. It's the report for the fiscal year Q2, October through December 2025. We have Mr. Nazarko. Thank you. Will be presenting.
Good afternoon, Honorable Board. I'm here to present the second quarter of 2026, the one that ended December 31st, 2025. High-level overview of the budget versus actual report for the city of, for the police department, city of Detroit. And, the reports that have been submitted to the board, next slide, please, are the Q2 year-to-date budget versus actual revenues and expenses. General fund second quarter year-to-date budget versus actual revenues and expenditures. Vehicle purchase report, capital expenditure report, and grant activity report. For the second quarter, again, that ended on December 31st, 2025, the general fund revenue came in at $33.3 million versus a budget of $36.4 for a shortage of $3 million. Forfeiture fund, we brought in $407,000 on a budget of $2.5 million. And special revenue fund, which includes 2 funds, the tow fund and the E911 fund, we brought in as a revenue $4 million versus a budget, total budget of $12 million. On the expenditure side, the general fund spent $212 million on a budgeted $208 million. Forfeiture fund, we spent $324 million on a budget of $891,000. And then special revenue funds, as I said, tow and the E911, we spent $4.5 million on a budget of $11.8 million.
Mr. Nazarko, could we ask questions per chart, just so we?
Yes, please.
Okay. Are there any questions regarding this chart? All right, thank you.
You're welcome. The next slide details the different or major revenue categories for the general fund only. And there are 3 major categories: municipal income tax, utility users tax, and other revenue. The municipal income tax, the budget for the half year, for 6 months, was $18.4 million, and we brought in $14.2 million. Utility users tax was budgeted at $13 million. We brought $15 million in. And then other revenue, that there are many categories that roll up to that line item, such as special events, sale of abandoned property, and other items. We had budgeted $4.9 million, and we brought in, the actual amount was $3.7 million. On the expenditure side, the salaries and wages were budgeted for the entire year $330 million, and we spent $160 million. Employee benefits, budget $83 million, we spent $45 million. Professional and contractual services, budget $8 million, we spent $2.8. Operating supplies, $7.7 million budgeted, actual amount $1.6. Operating services, $4 million, spent $1.3. Capital equipment and outlays, $1.2 budget, we spent $500,000. And other expenses combined, $2 million budget, we spent $763,000. Any questions on that slide?
Any questions? I have one question that I'd like clarified, and I know I probably asked this the last time. Because we have expenditures of 202 million plus, but we only have revenues of 33 million. So what is that other, how is that other amount covered, or how is it covered?
That's a good question, Madam Chair. The expenditures of the police department for the current fiscal year, the total expenditures amount to close to $455 million. The revenues that we are budgeted to bring in hover around $90 million. So obviously the difference is covered from the general fund, but when we show the revenues for the police department, we show only the revenues that are either earmarked to be spent for the police and the rest comes from the general fund, or the revenues that police department itself collects, such as the special events, billings. For example, utility user tax. There is a provision in the law that the police department is given a certain percentage of utility user taxes the city of Detroit collects. Therefore, you know, that amount that we talked about earlier, $30 million that we have budgeted, is part of that. Same thing with income tax. I believe there is provision in our city charter that 11% of the income taxes that we collect come to the police department. The entire income tax collections are more than $200 million for the city of Detroit. Only $36 million of that is the portion that the DPD gets. Therefore, to answer your question is that the difference between $90 million that we collect or funds that are earmarked for police and the difference in our budget is funded by the city's general fund.
And then that just, I have another question with regard to that. So we will never have a deficit then, because that amount will be covered?
By law, we cannot have a deficit.
Okay.
The entire expenditures are, we spend as much as our budget allows us, meaning that up to the level of revenues. We cannot go even a dollar above that.
Okay, thank you. That answers my questions. Commissioner Bowman?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to whether the budgeted funds are at all fungible. And what I mean by that is in areas where the actual amount is less than the budgeted amount, and then other areas where it's more, the actual expense is more than the budgeted amount. Do savings in the areas where the actual amount's less than the budgeted amount become available for expenses that end up where the actual goes over the budgeted amount?
Through the chair, that's an excellent question. The way that the budget works, not just for just the police department, but the entire city of Detroit and beyond that, the budget laws work like this. When the city council is in process now to approve our budget, approves the budget by appropriation. And what is an appropriation is an authority to spend in a certain area. For example, in police department, we have an appropriation called crime prevention. And let's say that we are budgeted there $100 million to fund the crime prevention policing activities. We have 5, 6 appropriations within our budget. The law allows us to shift, not to shift, but if any appropriation has money not spent, you cannot shift that money to the different appropriation, unless you go and ask the city council permission saying that we have spent less on this appropriation and we want to move that money to the Y appropriation to fund those services because we overspent on that regard. Only City Council can authorize moving money from one appropriation to the other. Within the same appropriation, we divide that into cost centers. And cost centers, for example, a speaker prior to this mentioned that we spend by precincts, which is true. On the salaries and wages and personnel, we spend the DPD accounts, the spending by precinct. If we have within the same appropriation, but precinct 1 spent or downtown services in this case spent less than the precinct number 9, we can shift it because there are two cost centers within the same appropriation, if that makes sense.
Okay, and like the line items then on the document we're looking at right now, would each one of those be a separate appropriation?
Not necessarily. For example, if you're talking about salaries and wages and employee benefits, there are, within those two main classifications, there are maybe 2 or 3 appropriations, which are not visible from this report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. You could move on.
The next slide then is the details of the items that I spoke earlier. So the revenues now are broken down by subcategories. For example, sales and charges for service is broken down to other reimbursements, fees, personnel services, and other department sales. This is for the information for the board and the public, if you wish. But on the next slide, under the expenditures, salaries and wages, for example, are broken down into salaries, overtime for police uniform, and overtime for police non-uniform. Employee benefits, you have so many categories there, starting with pension benefits, hospitalization, which is insurance, health insurance, FICA expense, workers' compensation, sick leave, longevity, and so on and so forth. So all these items are rolling up to those main categories that we just spoke in the previous slide. So do you have any questions on that slide?
Just real, I do. Any questions? Just real quick, I want to understand. This report is as of December 31st, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
The reason I'm asking is because I noticed that the expenditures is only 48%. But it is half of the year, correct? Because we're on a
Correct.
June.
So 48% is a good place,
Right,
Madam Chair.
it's 50%.
It's almost
Okay.
50%.
Thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. Nazarko.
Going through the slides again, I'm not going to go there, so many details in that, but again, the commission has the full report, and as a matter of fact, some more details that have been provided to the finance manager of the BOPC. I'd like to go to the slide that shows the vehicle purchase report. Right there. There was very light activity on the vehicle purchase report. As you can see, we just purchased in November 2 light-duty trucks, and in October 1 trailer, 1 RTV, and then in December another trailer. So the total 5 vehicles for the total quarter, which is a very light activity report on the purchase vehicle side. Any questions on that? Just want to clarify to the board that this report, because this is not represented in the budget numbers, the vehicle purchases are a separate fund, fleet fund that is outside of our DPD budget, managed by the fleet section. But this report I get from that section, so it's not coming from my system. So if you had any questions as to what vehicle and what purpose, what not, I would not know.
Just a quick question. How many vehicles do we have budgeted for the whole year? Do you have that number?
Through the chair, I don't have that number. I can get it, but like I said, since it's not part of my reports and the system that I draw my reports, I don't have that readily available unless I ask another department.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. You could move on. Mr.
Thank you.
Nazarko.
The next slide shows the capital improvements or repairs and maintenance that were made for the months of October, November, and December. And you can see there from the DPD Auto Pound all the way to the Oakman Boulevard. And the following slide goes by precinct. The last one on the list is DPD Training Center. The total amount we spent for the quarter was $238,000. Next slide, please. The next slide shows the grants that were active for DPD during the second quarter of 2026 fiscal year. And the grants are as follows: the City of Detroit Overtime Traffic Enforcement Grant, the VOCA grant, the Expanding Access Grant, Office of Neighborhood Safety Planning, Culturally Specific and Underdeserved Grant, Crime Victim Sustainability Fund Grant, Auto Theft Prevention Authority, three grants in that regard. And then the last one is the nation's drug overdose crisis for fiscal year 2024. And Madam Chair, that concludes my reports, and I'm available for any questions.
Any questions, Commissioner Bowman?
Yeah, I'm just a little curious about, I was looking at the heli hangar. I was wondering, is that over at the Coleman A. Young Detroit City Airport, or is that another location?
Are you looking at the?
It was like, I think it was the second or third from the last page, maybe. Like over here, okay. Maybe it's before the precincts. Yeah, it was up there on page 9.
No, do you know the heli hangar? This report again came from another department. Oh, this is for a helicopter, I believe. This is a helicopter, the place where we keep the helicopters.
Yeah, the amounts look very small, so I'm trying to make sense out of that. I'm looking at $1 in October, $1 in November.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it. And there are two next to that, the Harbor Master and heli hangar. Those $2, I think I've explained this before, but the way that these expenses are, those are not actual expenses. Usually the department is not uncommon for us when we are not certain of the expenditure for a certain repair or maintenance issue. We do requisition for $1 as a placeholder until we go out for bids or we call for estimates, and then we do the exact requisition. But we have to do a placeholder so to open a PO, an authorization to spend. But again, the $1 is a placeholder, is not an actual expense.
Thanks.
Any other questions? I just need a clarification on page 10 where you indicated the total the total amount of capital improvements. Yes. I wrote down that you said $228,000?
$238,104, Madam Chair.
Where is that amount?
At the very bottom corner of page 10.
No, I have $67,738. Unless there's a column that I'm missing.
Can I approach and maybe different version of the report? Can I approach and give you this copy?
I mean, or maybe I just am missing the last. Is that what everybody else has?
I've got the, through the chair, I've got the 67,000.
Yeah, that's why. That's not the same.
Is Mr. Freeze here? I emailed him this afternoon.
Okay.
Is that the same report I emailed you, Madam Secretary?
We probably have to get that corrected because we don't have that page. It's completely different. The numbers are different.
Page 10 at the bottom corner on the right. Should be 234,000.
All the amounts are different.
All the amounts.
All the amounts are
Here, all the amounts.
Then that's a different report.
Okay, we just need to get the.
However, the reports that I sent to Madam Secretary and Drew Freeze today is the report I just.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem, again, forwarding that very report to you in a few minutes.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Are there any other questions?
Through the chair, I do have a question.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Through the chair, Mr. Nazarko, back to the capital improvements page, there are 3 lines of capital improvements to the DDC. Are you able to share exactly what those improvements were?
Today, I don't have the details here. What's the amount of that?
So there's a line for DPD, DDC for 598. There's another line for Building 100 for 14,852. And then for Building 500, 1,540.
I will email the information to you by tomorrow.
Thank
Through
you.
the chair.
And through the chair. And I know we've had discussions before about needing upgrades to the air conditioning unit at DDC. I assume these are not related to that at all, because that's still on the horizon?
Absolutely not, because that undertaking will be in tune of $1 million, if not more.
Thank you.
Thank you. That page may even be replaced, right? All two of these pages may be replaced.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
could we have, Drew Freeze is on Zoom, if he can respond to which version of the report? Because I still have the one that we had when we were going to schedule before. So maybe Drew has it. Could he speak to that, Madam Chair, so we
Yes.
can make sure we get the correct report?
Yes, correct.
Through the chair, can I be heard?
Yes, you may.
Good afternoon. I'm here to confirm that the version that Mr. Nazarko is presented on and the numbers that he is referencing on slide 10, he sent me that version this afternoon. I wanted to look through the numbers in the slides to be prepared for his presentation. I have the correct version. I'm not sure why I didn't make it to commissioners, but I will forward that version right now.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freeze.
If I may, Madam Chair, Drew, if you could kindly forward it to myself and Candace so that we can go ahead and get the copies done.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Nazarko.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Commissioner.
Next, we have the report from the secretary.
Madam Chair, through the chair, we apologize for that inconvenience. And thank you, Mr. Nazarko, for our rescheduling. Due to many priorities changing, a number of presentations, so if the board is wondering, I think for transparency, this was dated March 5th. It would have come before the board prior to now, but because of the budget hearings, et cetera, and some other closed sessions that we had to adjust some priorities. So Mr. Nazarko was able to reverse some things. We also were to have the HR report today as well, the presentation for a couple of months that is also backed up. Ms. Patillo is rightfully on vacation as of today, so she will be here at the April 16th meeting to catch up on her reports as well, in case the board has looked at the calendar that was approved and see that we are behind on some of the presentations. Under your tab 6, today are the incoming communications, are the facial recognition shot spotter weekly reports. We also have memoranda from the two committees that recently met this week, the policy committee as well as the ad hoc committee for review of bylaws and standard operating procedures, which there are some motions later on the agenda today under unfinished business and new business. As far as the announcements for today, the next board meeting is the April community meeting, which is next Thursday, April 9th. We will be in the 9th Precinct at Heilman Recreation Center, 19601 Brock Avenue. Also, for May, the community meeting will be held Thursday, May 14th at 6:30 p.m. in the 8th Precinct, and that will be at the Wayne County Community College Northwest Campus in the Lewis Auditorium. Just want to make sure that everyone notices the building, since there are several buildings on that campus, that it will be in the Lewis Auditorium at 8200 West Outer Drive, Detroit. And that ends the report for today, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Item number 7 is unfinished business. And we have a motion from Commissioner Camille on the ad hoc committee.
Madam Chair. So the ad hoc committee for review of BOPC bylaws and standard operating procedures did meet for the first time this week. It was a good kickoff meeting. I do invite all commissioners, if you have availability, to participate in that meeting as well. These bylaws and the standard operating procedures are very foundational to how we conduct our business, and all input is welcome. There is a motion coming out of the committee in regards to the board's statement regarding the killing of DeQuayne Johnson, which was referred to committee. And I'd just like to add a little bit of context about the motion to be made. So the current bylaws and standard operating procedures don't currently govern the issuing of such statements. And by the time that language is approved, the matter will be even more untimely than it is today, as that incident happened in February. In addition to that, individual commissioners can and have had an opportunity, and at least one commissioner has issued an independent public statement about the tragedy. And so by direction of the ad hoc committee for the review of BOPC bylaws and standard operating procedures, I move to recommend that the board not issue a statement in response to the killing of DeQuayne Johnson because a statement on this matter is no longer timely.
Okay, by direction of the ad hoc committee, it is recommended that the board not issue a statement in response to the killing of DeQuayne Johnson because a statement on this matter is no longer timely. Is there any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Point of
Yes.
order. I didn't quite hear a motion. I heard a recommendation that we not have one.
That's
No, she said by direction of the committee, she moves.
by the direction.
Now, that's a motion all day long.
The motion to not have a statement. Okay, thank you.
No, to not have, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Under new business, is there anything else under unfinished business? Hearing none, then under new business, Commissioner Camille, you'll be reporting as well.
Thank you, through the chair. This is also a motion coming from the ad hoc committee. This is in relation to the additional documents that the committee would like to review and have access to review as we consider what language needs to be in the bylaws and standard operating procedures. And so by direction of the ad hoc committee for the review of BOPC bylaws and standard operating procedures, I move that the board empowers the ad hoc committee to review any and all other documents that can assist in reviewing the bylaws and standard operating procedures.
So moved.
No, we don't need a second. We don't need a second. I mean, we don't need a motion, she made it. So here, yeah, it's a little bit confusing.
Okay.
By direction of the committee, it is moved that the board empowers the ad hoc committee to review any and all other documents that can assist in reviewing the bylaws and standard operating procedures. Is there any further discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just as a point of clarification for the board, it's important to understand committees are not a deliberative assembly. A board is a deliberative assembly. A convention is a deliberative assembly. Committees have only that power that is stated in the bylaws or stated in the motion that was used to create them. By saying empower, that means that this committee will have the authority to request, review any other documents that they believe they need in order to carry out the primary responsibility, which is reviewing the bylaws. So they won't have to keep coming back to you every time they want to do something. Now, I don't think this is controversial, but it's important for you to realize that's why this motion is made, because your original motion only said they could review bylaws. You didn't give them the authority to run around getting other things. And so this motion is required for the committee to fully do its work.
Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, and just for clarity, thank you for that, parliamentary, and also in our committee meeting, we made a distinction to make sure this has nothing and will not spill over to the policy committee and the charge that the policy committee has.
Does that have to be included in the motion or in the recommendation?
I'm not quite sure. What does this have to do with the policy committee?
No, I just want to add on, that was per the discussion. I want to put it on the record, that was part of the discussion. So no, I'm not asking for it to be added on to anything.
All right, we're
I just
good.
want to state it for the record.
Through the chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
And I agree, that was part of the discussion. I think what we have in the motion that is helpful is that it's referring to documents that assist in the review of the bylaws.
Okay.
And so DPD policy would not be helpful in that. So I agree that DPD policy is out of scope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Madam Chair?
Is there, I'll entertain,
Madam Chair?
Go ahead,
I have additional new business.
oh, go ahead.
2 items to raise, thank you. So I'm not sure if all of us did, but some of us did receive a request by mail for a hearing for someone who I guess is now a former DPD employee regarding a certain type of retirement that they were placed on. If there hasn't been any follow-up on that, I'd like to request that council take a look at that and advise us what is within our power to do with that request. I know council's not here,
He's
but
not here, but we can definitely request
and through the staff.
through the secretary.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, I do have one additional item. It's actually a request from both you and perhaps the Budget Committee as well. So we know the budget process has been intense, and the Budget Committee has been doing a really diligent, their due diligence in making a case for City Council to approve the budget that the BOPC needs to do its business. I also understand, though, that City Council has sent some correspondence with questions to the board, and the board has responded to those. And so that the other commissioners that may not be on the committee or may not be privy to that information, so that we can also support in the conversations to help that budget to get passed. Is it possible for us to receive copies of that as an FYI?
Yes. And we have Drew Freeze on the Zoom still?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I
go ahead.
will forward that information. The information,
The request to copy all the board members. I think what
Correct.
it's
And-
copying is the Budget Committee.
the manner in which the information came in was not directly to the board. It came directly, Mr. Freeze received it. So I hear clearly what you need and what you want, and we spoke of that. The staff did this morning, the admin side of the house. So we are correcting that, and we'll get that out to you. Also, Madam Chair, if I can double back
Yes.
to the correspondence, that I believe that's the correspondence that each board member received and signed for. Your staff does not have it, so I would need a copy of that to get over to corporate counsel. And I wanted to note, I didn't early, but corporate counsel did advise that he was called into a meeting by the mayor earlier, right before the meeting on an urgent matter.
Through the chair.
I do not have a copy of the brown envelope document.
Through the chair, and I did realize that as well. Johnny and I did connect, so she's made a copy of it.
Okay.
So the office has it now. Thank you so much for following up.
All right.
Thank
Through the chair,
Thank you. Anything else, Commissioner?
I'm sorry. I just had
Commissioner Carter.
so on the matter about the retirement, are we requesting a legal opinion that can be forwarded to the gentleman for, or you just want to know how we should proceed? Should we ask for a legal opinion so that it can go forward to the individual that sent us all that information?
Through the chair, I'm not opposed to a legal opinion. I'm looking for direction on, as a board. I haven't seen a request like this come to the board before. Just wondering what we're supposed to, if we need to schedule the hearing. So I don't know if it's a legal opinion from council to us on our powers in this initially, or I'm open.
I think that it should be a legal opinion as to how we should proceed. I mean, just period. Yeah, I agree.
And this is the first time I've ever seen anything like that. And we all did sign for it, so I think that at this time, we should do a motion to refer that matter to Corporation Counsel for a legal opinion.
So moved.
Okay,
Support.
so a motion has been made by Commissioner Camille, seconded by Commissioner Carter to refer, is it Mr. Brown or Ms. Brown? Who is the?
Well, I didn't refer to the name. It's not Brown, but
sorry.
it's
I
okay.
thought I heard you
It wasn't Brown, though.
All right, to refer the matter that we all received, the information that we all received regarding an employee,
The hearing request.
okay, to Corporation Counsel. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Commissioner Morris.
Yes, Sergeant Benjamin Wagner is a former sergeant with the Detroit Police Department. He retired in 2017. He was arrested March the 17th, 2026. He's charged with multiple counts of criminal sexual conduct where it is alleged that he committed these acts while serving as a Detroit police officer. I have directed Battle Secretary Ms. Barber to see if the board during his tenure with the department ever passed any resolutions. As of today, they have not yet confirmed. So I'm going to revise my motion, but I'm coming forward with a motion. I motion that the board immediately, temporarily revoke any resolution honoring Sergeant Wagner.
Point of
It may
order.
have passed.
We have a motion
Point of order?
now.
I would guess it's point of order.
You need to carry that first motion through.
Yeah, point of order. I just wondering what the relevance of this is to the motion made by Commissioner Camille.
It's not
Right,
right.
the motion right now is to refer it to Corporation Counsel to provide direction.
Oh, I'm sorry,
to
I
our
was
board.
down, when y'all brought that, I was down there talking to us, I didn't catch that part. Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, we already have a motion just to refer it to Corporation Counsel for direction on how we should move forward. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so I'll call for the question. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Okay,
Okay?
yes, ma'am.
So now you're not,
Yeah, I have a
don't want to
second.
have a motion? Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I motion that the board immediately, temporarily revoke any resolution it may have passed honoring Sergeant Wagner pending the outcome of his criminal case.
Okay, is there a second?
No.
Second.
Okay, it's been, a motion has been.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
The parliamentarian would advise that the correct terminology would be to rescind and expunge from the record. Since this is a motion to rescind something previously adopted without notice,
okay,
it requires 2/3 vote to be adopted. But the correct terminology is to rescind and expunge from the record. Now, if you don't want it expunged from the record, don't include that. But the parliamentarian's assumption is that there's concern that it not just be rescinded, but that the minutes of the meeting where the resolution, if there was one, was adopted, would then be edited to say, on April the 2nd, rescinded and expunged.
okay. Would you amend your motion?
Yes, I
Okay.
motion that the board.
I move that.
Yes, I
Thank you.
move that the board immediately, temporarily rescind, is that good?
And expunge.
And expunge any resolution it may have passed honoring Sergeant Benjamin Wagner pending the outcome of his current criminal case.
Okay, so now the parliamentarian is revising her advice. You cannot temporarily
Just,
rescind something. If you rescind it,
I'll scratch that.
you've
Scratch
erased
that.
it.
I'll scratch that.
So if the commissioner is concerned about something the board may have done at some point when this person retired, the parliamentarian would advise as a process of parliamentary procedure, not legal, but parliamentary procedure, that you first ask the staff to identify if in fact it does exist. Because there's no point in trying to rescind something that doesn't exist. And then if it exists, it can't be temporary. And the parliamentarian is wondering if the issue of a temporary is because of the legal process paying out.
Yes, ma'am.
The parliamentarian would then advise that it may be premature to try and erase something, if it exists, until you know what the outcome, but that's just the parliamentarian's advice. But you can't temporarily rescind something. When you rescind it, it's gone.
Madam Parliamentarian, can the motion be that he moves to rescind or expunge any resolution that may have been issued? I mean,
the term that concerns the parliamentarian was the word temporary.
yeah, no, that can be taken out.
If you remove the word temporary, then we're on solid ground.
Okay.
But then you can't come back if he's found innocent and say, okay, now, we want to bring this back. You've erased it. I mean, commissioners are looking at me like you're not quite sure what, am I not being clear?
No, you're clear.
Clear.
No, you're clear, I understand.
So then, is the recommendation, or based upon what you've indicated to us, should we not make the motion until we know for sure?
If there is a concern by the board as to whether or not the legal process is going to play out, and there's always a possibility that a person may be found not guilty or whatever that legal process is, if a commissioner is concerned about having a legal decision on this, then it would not be wise to take action at this time. If the commissioners are not concerned about having a legal decision, then it's within your power to rescind a resolution if it has in fact been adopted. So it all depends on whether you're sitting there saying he's innocent until proven guilty, or you're saying the fact that he's been arrested and all of this is enough for me to say, let's get rid of that.
The arrest and allegations are very serious and concerning. As a commissioner, I take allegations of sexual assault very seriously. We see day in and day out people stand before us who are victims of sexual assault. And so for my integrity, because of the allegations, I trust that the men and women of the Detroit Police Department have done their due diligence. I stand behind Wayne County Prosecutor's decision to charge him. So I move that the board immediately rescind and expunge any and all resolutions honoring Sergeant Wagner, period.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made by Commissioner Morris, seconded by Commissioner Camille. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner Bowman?
Point of inquiry, is this the person who has been separated from this department now for a number of years, and as a retired officer who was recently found to be, recently basically become accused of sexual misconduct? Is that the person I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, then I guess my issue is this board of specific members here had nothing to do with any resolution. We basically be trying to revoke something a different board did years ago, assuming that they even did it. Am I getting that right?
Through.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Morris.
And when an officer, when there's a resolution honoring an officer for their service to the department, we do that based upon the information that we do know, the Board of Police Commissioners, whoever is in the seat. But if there's something that comes about later that was not disclosed, that would say, hey, had that happened with that resolution, would we have done that resolution honoring him? The likelihood being no is the precedence that I'm trying to set here. So you can't come before the board and be honored, and then later on we find out that the service we thought that you were you know, you were honorably providing to the community. You know, if these charges are true, he betrayed the citizens of the city of Detroit that we represent. And we have, victims come before us all the time. There are some things the boards cannot do, and there's some things that the board can do. In this situation, there is an action that the board can take. We have to take some sort of action to say that this isn't tolerated. And because, if you are honored and this later found to have done these things, the board has a duty to go back and say, no, we're taking that back from you. Because if he's convicted and he goes before the judge, these resolutions and awards is what they will use to try to get him a lenient sentence. And it's saying that he was doing something that he was not doing. So,
Through the chair,
serious allegations.
Okay.
I think that we should find out if there was.
Correct. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
If there was a resolution, I think that should be the first step, and then go forward from that.
The chair.
I agree with that.
Well, a motion has
Oh.
been made and supported, but you can vote in opposing it, so, I mean, we could,
Madam Chair.
I can
Chair,
offer.
discussion.
go ahead.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Commissioner Watson, then Commissioner, yeah.
Yes, and all the dialogue has been interesting, but however, I like how he amended the motion, because saying that we have to go first to see if it exists, I think the language he put forth will provide that. Because if it doesn't exist, then it just doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Right, right.
And actually, I'd like to even go further to say that if it includes some language, but not now, we can discuss this later, to anyone in the past that fits that category in the history that's been allocated anything, accolade, that's been found guilty, rescind that too. We don't know that right now, but I want to stick with the motion that's on the floor, but I can respect the other commissioners when you're saying, let's find out first, but I think the language that he amended to, for me, carries that category.
I agree.
Because if it doesn't exist, okay, it doesn't exist, but we covered it. At least we've covered it now and made a decision.
True.
Thank you.
Through the chair. Yeah,
Go ahead,
Commissioner
Commissioner.
Carter, basically what I'm doing, instead of, because I had already inquired about it with them, instead of having them continuously going through the archives and tying up the time and resource revisit it, I just kind of like did it like that. So if it exists, it's null and void. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't.
Okay.
And
We're
that's
just putting it in place, basically.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
Commissioner Camille?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And in regards to any concerns regarding the outcome of the case, regardless of the outcome of the case, we're not legally obligated to give any resolutions or maintain any resolutions. So regardless of the outcome of the case, we're within our rights to pull that resolution if we choose to do so.
Okay, any other discussion?
Call for the question.
Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, because it requires a 2/3 vote, you got to do
Okay.
either show of hands or roll call.
Why don't we do show of hands? We have 7-2,
Everyone in support except for
Everyone
Commissioner
except for
Bowman.
one.
I'm
so-
sorry, Commissioner, that statement is out of order.
Okay.
Okay, now you can ask for those opposed, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry?
And you can ask for those opposed.
Those opposed.
Okay. And those opposed? Yes.
And please say the count for the minutes.
Okay, was it?
8.
8 approve the motion and 1 opposed it. So the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been
Happy Easter, happy Good Friday.
everyone and seconded by Commissioner Bowman.